Sometimes in the heat of the moment, fighters cross the line, breaking rules that leave fans shocked and referees scrambling. But what really happens when MMA rules are ignored, and how does it change the game? MMA is as much about strategy and discipline as it is about strength and skill. But what happens when fighters break the code? These controversial moments have shaped MMA's history, stirring up debates among fans and fighters alike. Some of these events are unforgettable for all the wrong reasons, but they've undeniably left their mark. Stick around, because we're counting down the moments that had fans gasping and officials scrambling to restore order. You won't want to miss this wild ride. Mixed martial arts, MMA, is known for its unpredictable and action-packed fights, but it also has its share of controversies when fighters break or stretch the rules. These moments range from accidental violations to outright disregard for regulations, often leading to suspensions, disqualifications, or overturned victories. Here's a look at some notable fighters who broke the rules in the chaos that followed. Both Yoel Romero and Charles Oliveira were penalized for an unusual rule violation, exiting the cage before the official decision was announced. Romero, after delivering a flying knee KO to Chris Weidman at UFC 205, celebrated by stepping out of the cage. Similarly, Oliveira did the same after submitting Will Brooks. Both fighters received 2-month suspensions. This rare rule gained more attention after the infamous post-fight brawl at UFC 229, further cementing its enforcement in the sport. Known for his explosive fights and crowd-pleasing backflip celebrations, Justin Gaethje was told by Colorado's commission not to perform his signature cage dive during a fight. However, after a quick TKO win at WSOF 29, Gaethje defied the order and performed the flip anyway. He was handed an indefinite suspension, highlight the line between fan service and safety regulations. Former NFL player Greg Hardy sparked controversy when he used an inhaler during a fight against Ben Sassoli at UFC on ESPN 6. Claiming it was for asthma, Hardy received approval from a commission representative, but later had his win overturned to a no contest. While Hardy maintained he acted in good faith, this incident served as a reminder of how even-minded but Thiago Alves and Kelvin Gastelum pushed the boundaries. Alves missed weight for his UFC 205 fight against Jim Miller, citing food poisoning, and received a 3-month suspension. Gastelum, on the same card, chose not to weigh in at all, knowing he would be over the limit. He was fined and given a 6-month suspension that was later reduced. These incidents underline the challenges of making weight and the penalties fighters face for failing to meet their obligations. Jon Jones, one of MMA's greatest fighters, has only one official loss, due to a disqualification. During a fight against Matt Hamill at the TUF Heavyweights finale, Jones was dominating when he landed illegal 12-6 elbows. Though the fight could have been stopped earlier, the referee deemed the strikes the deciding factor, handing Hamill the win. This rule, designed to mimic breaking demonstrations in martial arts, remains a contentious topic among fans and commentators. In mixed martial arts, MMA, rules are in place to ensure safety, fairness, and order in a highly unpredictable sport. However, fights don't always go as planned, and when a fighter breaks the rules, intentionally or accidentally, it often leads to chaos and controversy. The outcomes of these rule violations vary depending on the severity and the circumstances, but they almost always leave a lasting impression on fans, fighters, and officials alike. The first response to most rule violations is a warning from the referee. For minor infractions, such as grabbing the fence or unintentional illegal strikes, referees may issue a verbal warning or stop the action briefly to remind the fighter of the rules. In more serious cases, referees can deduct points, which can heavily influence the outcome if the fight goes to the judges' scorecards. For example, strikes to the back of the head or accidental low blows are common violations. Referees may allow the injured fighter time to recover before restarting the bout. In some cases, repeated offenses, even if unintentional, can lead to stricter penalties. When a rule violation directly impacts the outcome of a fight, it can result in a no contest ruling or a disqualification, DQ. A no contest is declared when an infraction or unintentional illegal act prevents the fight from continuing without a clear winner. For instance, Greg Hardy's use of an inhaler during a bout led to his victory being overturned to a no contest because such actions are prohibited during fights, regardless of intent. On the other hand, disqualifications occur when the illegal act is deemed intentional or egregious. Jon Jones's infamous DQ loss to Matt Hamill due to 12-6 elbows is a prime example. Although Jones was dominating the fight, the illegal strikes led to an immediate disqualification, handing Hamill the victory. This remains the only loss on Jones's professional record, and it highlights how strict enforcement of the rules can alter a fighter's legacy. Fighters who break the rules can face additional consequences from state athletic commissions or governing bodies. These penalties often include suspensions and monetary fines. For instance, Corey Anderson was fined $10,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct following an overzealous celebration after his TKO victory over Johnny Walker. Meanwhile, Yoel Romero and Charles Oliveira were both suspended for 2 months for exiting the cage before the official decision was announced, a rarely enforced rule, but one taken seriously to maintain order. Suspensions and fines send a clear message about the importance of respecting the rules, but they can also spark debates about fairness, as penalties sometimes appear inconsistent. Breaking the rules doesn't just affect the immediate fight. It can have long-term consequences on a fighter's career and reputation. Greg Hardy's inhaler incident, for example, added to the controversy surrounding his career, overshadowing his athletic achievements. Similarly, Jon Jones's DQ loss is often brought up in discussions about his otherwise stellar career, serving as a reminder of how a single moment can define a fighter's narrative. Rule-breaking moments can tarnish the sport's reputation, particularly when they lead to confusion, unfair outcomes, or harm to fighters. Violations such as illegal strikes, excessive weight cutting, or unsportsmanlike conduct can make MMA appear disorganized or unsafe to casual fans or critics. For example, Greg Hardy's inhaler use during a fight highlighted regulatory inconsistencies. Although Hardy claimed he had permission, the incident drew attention to gaps in rule enforcement, ultimately undermining the credibility of the event. Similarly, Jon Jones's disqualification for 12-6 elbows against Matt Hamill remains a controversial moment that continues to raise questions about the consistency and relevance of certain rules. Incidents like these can frustrate fans and fighters, as inconsistent enforcement or unclear rules create an uneven playing field. They may also alienate potential new viewers who expect a professional, well-regulated sport. Ultimately, whether rule-breaking moments hurt or help MMA depends on how they're handled by promotions and governing bodies. Transparent enforcement of rules and consistent penalties can demonstrate professionalism and uphold the sport's integrity. However, poorly managed incidents or unclear rulings can harm its credibility. At the same time, the unpredictable nature of MMA is part of its charm. Rule-breaking moments, when not excessively dangerous or damaging, can add drama and excitement that keep fans engaged and invested. These moments show just how unpredictable and exciting MMA can be. Whether it's rule-breaking drama or shocking decisions, they remind us why we love this sport. It's raw, real, and anything can happen. What do you think? Do these controversial moments hurt the sport, or do they make it even more interesting? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We've got more wild stories, epic fights, and deep dives coming your way. Stay tuned, because the next video is going to be just as action-packed.